This podcast is a member of WGPRN, WildGamesProductions.com.
Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Darkling Podcast, episode number 4, I believe. We're getting up there in the numbers now. I'm your host, Vince, along with my faithful co-host, Mark. Mark, how you doing this evening?
Fantastic. A little chilly, winter drawing in. Yeah, episode 4, folks, of the Darkling Podcast, our spotlight on submissions from our listeners.
That's right. You can make up your own audio file, send it in to us, and we'll play it for you on our feed, so everybody can hear about it. If you have a review of something of your own product, or you're trying to get your own stuff out there, send it to the email address, which is Mark.
darkerdaysradio@gmail.com.
Wow. That was an interesting little .com there.
Yeah. Got to mix it up, you know.
Yeah. Well, we have we have an interesting show for you. Well, not a show, but we have an interesting file for you tonight. Submitted by Mr. Beckett. He pulled another one out of his bucket.
Yes, he did.
And this one should be about the Monty Cook World of Darkness. Ooh. You have anything to say about that, Mark?
I'm sure I'll have some words and pearls of wisdom once we see what Beckett has produced out of his
bucket.
All
right, folks. We'll take a quick break and we'll head right into the file, and then Mark and I will be back for a little gabber.
Hi, this is Mark from Liquid Weird. Join me at www.liquidweird.net. Geek culture, role-playing games, and anything else that kind of comes up that's related to geekdom. Once again, that's www.liquidweird.net.
Good evening, my friends. Beckett here again, and you're listening to another episode of the Darker Days Podcast. Tonight, as I reach down into my invisible, flying, intelligent, masterwork item familiar aptly named Bucket, we'll take a look at Monty Cook's re-envisioning of the World of Darkness. Monty Cook is one of the developers of the original 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons game, and he takes on the World of Darkness by taking themes and elements from the World of Darkness core, vampire, mage, werewolf, and Promethean, throwing a little bit of Cthulhu in there as he takes it over to the D20 system most similar to D20 Modern. Essentially, 1 year ago, alien beings from another existence called the Iconu, beings of pure destruction and chaos, showed up in our reality. The Iconu should have destroyed us by proximity alone. However, there was a small segment of humanity, somehow more human than human, or with some divine spark or psychic essence no one knows for sure. These mortals, these awakened, somehow held the Iconu back from any true victory. Unfortunately, it was also these awakened that also alerted the Iconu we existed at all. Somehow it seems that the very spirit of humanity is somehow uncomfortable to the Iconu, or perhaps they're offended by it. So, once they learned that we existed, they began their assault. Although they've never been able to have any true victory, they have devastated our world. We often refer to it as the Nightmare, or the Nightmare Wave. Their original assault began in Middle America, which no longer exists. It just isn't there anymore, and spread out across the globe, causing many strange and weird things to happen. Fey circles come to life with nefarious means. Houses spontaneously eat people, or cause them to disappear into strange hell dimensions. Animals, men, and plants all mutate into strange things. All of those small-town local mystery spots, or circuses, houses of horror, may not be so much fun anymore. And perhaps worst of all, the gates that separated the living world from the dead have shattered, forcing the shades of the long dead, both mortal and animal, back into our existence. But not as simple specters and phantoms, no, something a little more brutal and cruel. Now, as a player, you take on the persona of one of the 5 monstrous denizens of Monty Cook's World of Darkness. As an awakened, you are immortal, but you have a little something extra. You have learned to be crafty in order to survive in such a vile world, and you alone can be credited with saving everybody else from the Ikonu's original assault. As a mage, you've learned that your focused will, although very overdeveloped, is enough to make nearly anything you wish happen. Being a vampire, you have had a long-dead human spirit shoved into your mind forever, and it grants you great power, as long as you're willing to feed off of the living to maintain it. Or as a werewolf, a mortal forcibly bonded with an animal spirit they can't relate to, but granted both savage and brutal gifts and great strength. And finally, demons. Most related to the Promethean game with a little bit of changeling thrown in. They are iconic spirits, maybe renegades, and maybe not, who are forced to create from themselves earthly bodies from corpses and inanimate material periodically in order to exist. Monty Cook's World of Darkness does use a level-based system, and unlike most systems, your race is also your class. So if you're playing a mage, you level up in the mage class, level 1 through 20. However, if you're not so much a fan of the level systems, there is a built-in mechanic that helps emulate White Wolf's more free-form XP buy-off. Essentially, it's broken down into 4 segments, which are typically after a normal game. These can be done in any order you wish, but one cannot be done again until all 4 have been done. Essentially, after the first game, you might increase your hit points, and after the second, perhaps your skills go up. After the third, you might gain a new racial power, such as the discipline. And after the fourth, which is the end of the cycle, your saves might improve. Once all 4 have been done, you can start over again in any order you wish. And while it is not perfect and that's not all there is to it, it does help a lot if you don't like levels. And finally, what are some reasons to play Monty Cook's version of the World of Darkness rather than any other D20 system, any fantasy setting, or even a normal World of Darkness game? Well, if you're like me and you normally don't like to corrupt your World of Darkness with anything D&D, Monty Cook does show that there is both a good and a right way it can be done. The art is fantastic. I particularly like the front cover, which is reminiscent of the Vampire the Masquerade's Gehenna book, but also the class picture of the mage shows a street punk both lighting a cigarette with his finger and flipping you off at the same time. The art also goes a long way in showing you things that the story does not, and incorporating the rules that are sometimes a little less clear. There's also the fact that there's only one book, the core setting book of Monty Cook's World of Darkness. Be you a player or a dungeon storyteller master, this is all you'll need to play. Although, if you wish, you can take pretty much any other D20 supplement and import it right over. It works fairly well. Also, you can feel free to ditch pretty much all the story that you don't like. For example, in my games, the end has come from purely mundane means. Humanity's hatred towards itself, its wars, and later mutagenic plagues that they have themselves set upon the world. Also, while Monty Cook's World of Darkness uses a variant of the D20 system, feel free to bring in pretty much anything you'd want from any other D20 product, such as the Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual if you want an ogre or a dragon. Or you can import the classes into another D20-based game, such as Star Wars. Because the class is the race, playing a first-level vampire in a Star Wars game makes it quite easy to have a vampire right there with the Sith or the Jedi destroying the galaxies. As I've mentioned, Monty Cook's World of Darkness uses a hybrid form of the D20 system, and so perhaps you'd like to steal some of the mechanics or the innovative new rules and port them over to your D&D game, or Star Wars, or whatever you may be playing at the time. Standing on the shoulders of giants, as it were. And finally, Monty Cook does some interesting things with the various groups in his World of Darkness. For example, if you're playing a vampire, you also have to choose one of Requiem's 5 clans, the Deva, Gangrel, Mekhet, Nosferatu, or Ventru. And based on that choice, you get small benefits to help differentiate you from other clans. But the biggest bonus comes from the disciplines. As in Requiem, your clan gives you a special discipline. which any clan can learn. However, in Monty Cook's World of Darkness, those disciplines grant you additional special things that no other clan can have. For example, a gangrel with the protean ability to grow claws, for instance, has no cost for doing so, while every other clan who chooses this power must spend 1 vitae. And there it is, Monty Cook's World of Darkness. If you have any interest in the D20 system, I'd advise at least a cursory inspection into it. Good evening.
All right, thank you, Beckett. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that, Mark. What'd you think?
That's outstanding. A real eye-opener for me. I'd never really immersed myself in the Monty Cook World of Darkness at all before. Monty Cook I'm a huge fan of. His Malhavoc Press produced, should I say, some of the best stuff for 3rd edition D&D. Loved his Arcana Evolved. Loved Toda City by the Spire. Really, really fantastic. I'd always thought that the Monty Cook's World of Darkness was a kind of last gasp D20 version of the old World of Darkness, and I was surprised to learn actually it has more in common with the new World of Darkness. The 5 vampire clans, the types of mage, although they don't use the names from Mage the Awakening. No. It's clearly the splat types from Mage the Awakening, the warlock, the theurge, etc., etc. Yeah, a real eye opener. So thanks for that, Beckett.
Yeah, it definitely has the flavor of the New World of Darkness, but it just has its own little twist made by Mr. Cook himself. So if you're a big fan of his, I suggest running over to the bookstore, picking it up, just taking a look at it. It's got a nice cover, big and thick book, so it's good to hit someone over the head with.
Yeah, it's a good discipline tool for your players too, which always comes in handy. And it uses the D20 system, and for me, for someone who's a fan of the World of Darkness, surprisingly enough, I don't really like dice pools. I find them kind of fiddly. That's probably a reason why I enjoyed Mage so much, because in starting, Mage characters only have a couple of dice. It's like, oh, you can roll 2d10 for that. Oh, a 3 and a 1, you botched. What a pity. Oh, the Nexus Crawler eats your face.
Wow.
So seeing this thing, using the D20 system, a much leaner, stripped-down system, I found that actually rather appealing.
Definitely. I mean, the D20 system is not a bad system. It gets a bad rap because of what D&D did to it, and how I don't know. I pretty much the D20 system, in my opinion, did revitalize the industry as far as D&D goes.
No denying it. Yeah.
Yeah. They took a dead product from TSR, the Wizards of the Coast, and they revamped it and streamlined it now with 4th edition, which a lot of people are saying good thoughts about, but.
We've heard good things about it. Yeah. What I like about Monty Cook's World of Darkness is it really showcases how flexible the D20 system is. Really, shows you that it doesn't need to be classes and levels and saving throws and spell slots per day. It can really be something quite innovative. And so hats off to Mr. Cook there. Of course, he's done another piece of great work.
Definitely. And if you want to play the World of Darkness flavor and you just really can't grasp the World of Darkness system, or you're just sick of it for a while, just pick up this book and you still have the atmosphere and the the character types of the New World of Darkness in this one big book, and you can have fun playing, 1 night, 2 night venture.
Check it out.
All right, folks, we're going to hit the road for tonight. If you have any submissions, you can send it to darkerdaysradio@gmail.com. How's that, Mark?
That was outstanding, Vince. Outstanding.
And you can also visit us at our website at darkerdays.tk. And head over to the forums at wildgamesproductions.com/forums.
And check us out on Facebook.
Follow me on Twitter, alucard20. Have a nice night. This is Vince signing off for Mark. Good night, everybody.